You're on.
It's gonna be on Facebook.
Not all of it.
Did you put in the Telegram or the?
You're on. You're on.
Woo!
Aloha.
What's up, buddy? What's up?
What's up? What's up?
What's up, Greggy?
Hi, everybody.
Oh, good, brother. How y'all doing? How y'all feeling out there?
I'm still breathing.
That's all you need, bro.
Every day.
I'm still breathing. Still alive, bro. Still kicking.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good to know.
How are you?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. Been lots of really interesting shifts since the last week. Just complete kind of quantum shifts in paradigms, in relationships, just with everybody, not a specific relationship, but just with everybody in general, because we are letting go of so much of who we are, of who we thought we were, and, really stepping into, as mom says, we're stepping into the unknowable, because love doesn't make sense. The paradox is not meant to make sense. It's literally just to keep you in your mind. So yeah, there's like lots of really deep energetics going on, and I just find myself in a lot of like deep gratitude and humility and appreciation for mom. She's just a genius in so many ways. And this is the lowest density of the whole universe. So from what we can see, just from this level, it's beyond words, really. So I actually had an interesting thing happen. Well, lots of interesting things happened this week, but I got a call from Jason. Jason, shout out to Jason, who held the role as Father God for some moments and assisted our divine director on her journey. But the past does not exist, and so he gave me a call and he offered a lot of intimidation and conditional love, and like I felt the test. I can even feel the energy now, and and I just sat there and I'm learning, just be the receiver, let the energy pass through you, don't judge it, don't make a story about it, don't make it the person, because it's all energy, it's all consciousness, and it's just different levels of consciousness. So if you're going to react to a lower level of consciousness, then as the Vedanta taught me, like, it doesn't matter how much you can meditate all day, every day, and for that 5 minutes that you're in traffic and someone cuts you off and you fluke them, and you lose your shit for that 5 minutes, that's your level of consciousness. Doesn't matter how much work you've been doing, we've got it. You are as strong as your weakest link. So yeah, big test and just really good. So shout out, you ain't no father for me. Jason, if you're watching, check yourself and wreck yourself, bro. I ain't taking any more of your fucking attitude. Done. Thank you. I've had my piece.
That's your test, baby. Yeah, bro. Yeah. How you been, Georgie?
Man, today's been like kind of a part two from yesterday. It's been like extremely very emotional for me. Lots of high energies, just been bawling my eyes out, going through the ringer. So yeah, pretty much everyone is going through the mix somewhere in that. Yeah.
Yeah, mine's been a lot of despair, man, and like huge amounts of like that, like lower depression energy, like sadness, man, like a deep sadness. And it's like, I feel I only really got out of it yesterday evening. Then today wasn't too bad, but the last 3 days before this was really deep stuff for me, man. It was like a lot of stuff came up around timelines, and for me, it was just about allowing that energy to flow through me, just allowing it and not judging it, not, and not trying to get myself out of it either. One thing I've learned recently, especially with the deep despair, is to really feel it. There's a reason why it's coming up, There's a reason why it's coming for me to feel it. And, my past response to it would be like snap out of it, you know, like get out of it and like try and push through. Where my advice this time, you know, from the family, from the angels, from everyone around me, was to like just sit in it and feel it, you know, really feel that feeling and don't judge it, don't attach to it, don't try and understand it, just let it come up, you know. And I feel that's helped. I feel that's helped a lot, you know. I've felt a little bit out of sorts, like these moments of crazy inspiration and creativity, and then just like absolutely nothing, you know, just like really hard, you know, really sticky stuff to just even, you know, crack a smile or get up and go, you know. So I'm getting out of it now though, and I appreciate what you shared, and you know, I feel for Jason, you know, for his advice is you know, is to receive. You know, I remember the one time he said to me like, I need to listen to my children, and I haven't seen much of that going on. You know, it's always barking and looking at what's wrong with everyone else, you know, rather than truly taking accountability for yourself and you know, being able to receive from people that also have had that experience and, you know, also have that wisdom, you know. And I feel if you can't receive in these moments, you're going to struggle. Like if you can't receive a call out, if you can't receive advice from someone, you're really going to struggle in these energies, because very often we can't see it. We can't see it ourselves, and for someone else to point it out is love. You know, that's true love. Someone, you know, taking care of us to point out something for our evolution is grand. And you know, if you're not receiving from everyone that's telling you the same thing, I mean, how many people are saying the same thing? Like, you can't just be barking and, you know, judging everyone else versus taking full accountability yourself, you know.
But if you can't receive, you can't discern.
You can't, bro. You can't. And I mean, the thing is, it's like, it's you know, it gives me a lot of compassion, you know. Like, I have a lot of compassion because it's,
For sure.
it was tough, but it's been building for a moment. And Mom said it. Mom said it over and over and over, to him, to us, to everyone, warned of this situation that's occurring now. And it's only going to get worse before it gets better. And all I can do is send prayers and get my lessons from it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not even negotiate with it, because
Well, I'd like to share something valuable that I got from the experience. So he called me, and when he was spinning in Lucifer energy once upon a time, and you know, he was barking at everybody, and then so I went on and I sent a voice note and I said, "What have you got without words? What have you got without words?" And he went silent and he never came back with anything, you know. And that's the power of words. We are always putting spells out there. We are always sending a vibration into the universe to have an equal energy exchange experience, you know. So that's why that self-talk is so important. So when he was, you know, ranting and going on, you know, I was just receiving. I was just listening, and every now and again I did try and say something. He jumped on the first two words I said, no matter what they were. And I realized very quickly, I realized it's pointless me saying anything, you know. Rather receive and let, and you can see where somebody else is at, instead of jumping out of your skin and, you know, kind of throwing a bunch of words around that, you know, don't really mean much. They don't have much foundation at the end of the day, because they're all based on limited definitions, you know. And then I just waited for a couple of nuggets just to confirm what I was feeling, you know, about where he's at. And one of the nuggets was when he said, "I am God," and then you know, I can deal with it. That's cool, you know. But when he said, you know, after Mother died, and I felt that immediately, and I said, "No, you fucking retard. Mother ascended," you know. And then the other one he said to me was, "Your numbers are not yours. The numbers are mine. The numbers are all mine." I said, "You can have the fucking numbers, bro. Like, and then he said to me, "You are not father." And I said, "What the fuck makes you think I'm father, bro? I'm just fucking energy, dude." And then I just received, and I just learned. I just said, "Hey, see what's here for you. Take your lessons." And before he called, I could feel his energy. And so I sent the violet flame into the core before me to transmute any agenda that he had. And he still tried some tricks. I saw them, but I knew I was protected, so I wasn't bothered. So I sent the violet flame before me, but then I sent love. And I sent just send them love. Because we're all we're all children, you know. And like the Buddha once said, every act is either an act of love or a cry for love. And the more inner work I'm doing, the more I'm connecting with mom and nature and staring at the moon every night and staring at the stars. The more healing I'm getting, the more kind of divine intuition, but on like a stability level where you're not attached to the external, and your feelings are not determined by the external. And it's just all tests. Like Faith said, we are in training. We're always in training. And when you approach life like that, when you realize that everything is energy in every moment and you're conscious of it, it just becomes a non-stop, train of gratitude, because everything is so brilliant. Mom's just so fucking brilliant. And when you focus on the brilliance and you focus on the vision, your problems disappear. All of your self-importance shit disappears, because we don't exist at the end of the day. We are just here to be conduits for God to express through us, love to express through us. And our gift is we get to feel that. We get to feel God's love. If God wants you to dance, you fucking dance. And if she wants you to dance like a chicken, you dance like a fucking chicken. That's how I got into the States in the first place. I went for this job interview, and they said, "You must cluck like a chicken." And my mate, he didn't want to cluck. He didn't get the job. I fucking knocked the chairs and tables over. I was like, "Hey, man, I'm getting there, bro. Whatever it takes." And that's it. It's about God's journey. What is God experiencing through you in every moment? Is your life joyful? And when you don't have that creative intuition, can you not just sit still in that moment and love the love that's all around you and within you? Because we're surrounded by unmanifest potential, but nobody gives it attention. Everyone's focused on the physical. Like Mama, man, she's she's such a fucking genius. I fucking love it to bits, man. Yo. And I couldn't give a fuck what anyone see. How they see it, what they don't see, it means nothing. You had the opportunity to connect with God in the physical. And if you didn't, now you need to feel what we get to share from the experiences we got to have with her. That's our gift, to share God's love through what we experience, because you can only experience love. You can't understand love. You can only experience it, and we got to experience it. I mean, you guys got to experience it there, physically. But obviously, my visa elementals were not on par in divine timing.
On that note, I actually wanted to read something that I wrote probably about 2-3 weeks ago, when I was trying to process this information, and process what had happened with mom, and everything in those final moments, especially when mom kicked Lucifer out, and told him to leave, and told us certain things, And
Hey, bro, can I just ask you to speak a bit louder? I don't want to miss what you're saying.
Can you hear me now?
Thank you.
So I wrote this about 2 or 3 weeks ago about this very topic that we're talking about, and I just wanted to share it right now. Physicality is the Luciferian experiment of separation. Mom took it all on for us. Take away source, and we start to see the true colors come up. As there is no more energy for the lower to suck off. As the Luciferian experiment loses its grip on the planet, the light grows. It cannot be seen in the illusion, and to most it looks like hopeless despair. The instant gratification and external fake joy can no longer sustain itself. For Mom to ascend, critical mass had to be reached. Critical mass meaning a certain amount of angels had to reach a quotient of light. As these beings integrate and remember how to use the light for good, it can be a really challenging process, as no lower energies can exist in the same space. Humanity will split into two fractions: those that already chose love and those that came to deceive. Mom's light is anchored in the hearts of all who have stood up for her truth. The activation of that spark comes through the cutting of the cords to the Luciferian slave trade. The return of the divine feminine leading the way. Our actions being the paintbrush of our heart's truth. Mother God is our light, and the path is clear for all that are pure of heart to walk through. Our victory parade is near. Be strong.
Yippee! That was beautiful, bro. Thank you.
Yeah.
This has been and always will remain an experiment. It never stops being an experiment. Even now that Mom has ascended, it still remains an experiment. There is a finite amount of things as the etheric and physicality merge together. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how that's going to look. We don't know how it's going to play out. And Mom has fully banked everything on this timeline. She has trusted the angels in creation and Robin enjoying the divine plan, that this is the timeline that we all are to be on. So whether you feel certain or not, whether you feel confident or not, still stick to it, still push through, because it's an experiment. There are so many different moments in this that we don't know what to do. And you have to go back to the trust, go back to the faith, go back to the empowerment, go back to the truth. And that's what guides you through the uncertainty. And that's what Mom is training all of us to do in these moments. Even for Greg, this situation with Jason, that's been a constant test that Mom has given out to many people, because as Jason represents the superego, that energy, the Lucifer energy, it's gonna try to manipulate you. It's gonna try to throw you off. It's gonna try to distract you. It's gonna try to take energy from you in some way or form. And it's your test as a master, to stay centered, stay focused, use your discernment. Where's your energy going? What's the focus? What's your intention interacting back with them? And it gets you to this place where it's like you go beyond judgment and it's more about the experience. What is this about? What's the lesson? And am I giving something here? Or is he sharing something with me? What is it? And if you can't get to that point, and it's more so about the contradictions or the opinions or things about past experiences, you're always going to be on that revolving door. It has to filter everything out until you have a pure experience, until you can have an experience clean of judgment and opinion, and you can surrender to that, because that's what Gabriel was saying earlier. He was talking about just surrender. That's what Mom has said in so many moments. She sent that to me as a message one time. I was like bothering her about questions. Like, Mom, I don't know what to do with this. I don't know what to do with these thoughts, these feelings, different things. Mom's like, you're still not surrendering. Spun me even more. What do you mean I'm not surrendering to it? I don't want it. It's like my judgments and belief systems were overriding the experience to where I couldn't even learn from the experience. Because I've got my head stuck on my ass. I'm in the middle of it. She's like, get out of the way, have the experience, enjoy it, learn from it. But if you're going to sit there and try to tell Mom, God, about the experience, where she's the one that green-lighted it for you, now that's dumb. And that's getting in the way of God and her dream. That's getting in the way of God and what she's pushing for the collective. And we don't know where that's going to end up. So that's been one of my biggest tests with a lot of different things. My triggers and just working with different people and the team is surrendering to how I actually feel about it. And it's not about trying to justify that I can be mad or I have a right to be mad. It's not about that either. It's really the experience. Do you feel upset from the experience, or is it a past trigger? You've got to be able to get to the bottom of that to be able, you can actually be in that experience and learn from each other. And Faith shared really awesome information in the last year, about love mirrors, about all of us, and even, the people on the team, the highest that we can see ourselves is about 60 to 70% in ourselves, meaning we can't see our full self, meaning we need each other as love mirrors to be able to reflect those other 50-40% back to us that we can't track, see, or we are still unconscious of, so we can catch those things in that moment when it happens, not a month or 2 years later when someone decides to say something to us. You see, that changes things. It sets a tone for acceleration and transformation, and it's focused on, and everyone's in on it. That's teamwork. That's unity consciousness, which is very different from 3D, where everyone's, the loner, survivalist, survival of the fittest. I gotta just do this for myself because no one's gonna be getting my back. Gotta learn to move past that whole mentality and learn to move into unity consciousness, because until you even move to that space, most of the things everyone's doing out there, the light workers and masters or whatever you want to call yourselves, it's only going to get you so far until you can learn to apply that to a greater community and work together with them. So that's truly where we're going with everything.
I feel it's frozen, man. What happened?
Brilliant, brother.
Oh no!
Oh, is it showing on
YouTube? It is showing.
YouTube?
It's also like sports.
Yeah, I think we froze on Facebook.
I think we froze.
Yeah, you froze for a moment there, but frozen's been happening a lot. No, but it's like, Gabriel, I know you enjoyed your sports, bro, and it's like sports. You always want to play against a better player. You always want to play against a better team because it improves your level. So, when the light workers get to a point where they settle, and then when they all settle on the same level, they don't want to see past that normality, that sense of what's the word, like relevance, where they can see each other on that level, but they don't want to look past it. They find a place to settle, and then they don't get any deeper.
Oh, for sure. And the funny thing, man, it's funny you say sport, because sport was such a big part of my life growing up. You know what I mean? And I was like, I don't know if I was reminiscing or what I was doing the other day, but I was looking at some of the major sporting events in South African history, and some of the past players and what happened to them and that sort of stuff. And I was like, it's always been a fascinating concept to me, because it's definitely a cabal hijacked medium. But the thing is, in order to get to that level, I mean, you and I both know, we both played sports, and, to get to that high level takes a lot of commitment and a lot of discipline.
For sure.
It's right action to
consistency.
It's not necessarily the raw talent that gets you there. You know what I mean? I know a lot of players that weren't the raw talents, that made it professionally, at sports that I played with them, and the ones that were really talented but didn't have that discipline didn't make it. You know what I mean? And I feel that that's exactly like what we're doing here. You don't need to be flashy. You don't need to have this crazy unlocked all this talent, but you do need to have that discipline. You do need to have that determination and that consistency, to be able to push through. And then the magic, who knows what magic lies underneath there, underneath the ones that never portrayed their talent originally, you know what I mean? But they practiced hard and they were persistent, and those are the ones that shine the brightest, and it's interesting for us, because I was looking at a lot of those timelines, especially growing up in South Africa, born in the 70s, a lot of things happened, the one thing specifically, I was looking at the 95 World Cup, when we won the World Cup, and it was such a significant part of our history as a country, with Nelson Mandela and everything that was happening in the country. I was about 17 years old at the time, and it was such a profound moment, where sport brought a country and people together in such a magical way that we can't explain to anyone what happened on those days. You had to be there, you had to know what it felt like. And, that's why I've always supported the underdogs that, that you can see that potential in, but they don't necessarily have the way out.
They don't see it themselves.
exactly, they don't see it in themselves, you know, and as long as they're willing to put in the effort to change, you know, that's one of my greatest joys is to see people change, bro, and see people want to evolve, you know. And I was thinking the other day, like, what is my true passion? You know, it's like I was in this place where I was really, really depressed and I was struggling with like what really brings me joy, you know. And I started looking at the plasma and everything, and the part that really brings me the joy is the effect I see it have on people. And George actually hired me on it the other day. He's actually sharing and teaching, you know, teaching other people the things that I've experienced, especially people that are hungry to learn and hungry
Sure.
to evolve. You know, that is truly what brings me the most joy is bringing other people joy and bringing enabling other people or helping other people to see themselves and see their spark. You know.
And what's the point of mastering something if you don't share it? It's just selfish stuff. It's like, that's the point of it. It's like you work all that hard in there and master it, and it's like, no, it's mine.
Exactly. That's the Lightworkers. It's all about labels and status, you know, like exactly what you're saying, Gabriel. Like I'm doing a numerology workshop and I've got two boys from Australia, two brothers, and then two girls from Slovenia. And I mean, sometimes our sessions go for like 6, 8 hours long, and we go deep into the numbers and the gematria and the geometry and the amount of wisdom we share in that group. And I said to them, guys, like every time we finish the session, I'm like, I'm so grateful because I've got so much I want to share through the numbers, you know, and the more I put it out there, you know, like Faye says to me the one day, she says, nobody understands what you say, Greg. I'm like, hey man, I don't give a shit. I just say what comes, you know. But connecting with this group, like we do it like twice a week, and every session is just so healing and transformative and you know, because you're sharing your gift, you know, that's the whole point of a gift is sharing it. And I just wanted to share with Brother George, you know, when the stream started and you were sitting there before you even said a word, like before you even said you've been on this big purge, like your energy is so much lighter, you know, you feel so much more free, you know.
He's cuddly.
I can feel it. It's really peaceful.
He is really peaceful.
Thank you, Gregory.
He's done a lot.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you, George. For real, man. I second that one. You've done so good.
We didn't do a pono.
Oh yeah, let's do it. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
Thank you.
Thank you. I love you. Mama.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, another thing that came up for me the last week is like, what truly brings us together is our pain. You know, it's not our achievements and it's not our like you know things we've done perfectly. The thing that we connect to people with is through our pain and through the parts of us that have been hurting. That's where the true connections lie, because that's where the true self can connect with others, because you can relate to someone else's grief or trauma or whatever, and that's most of everybody here that's found mom. They found mom through not wanting to be in pain anymore.
Yeah, I agree. There's been a lot. I'll say definitely a lot within this last month that, like, personally, I'll share that it has only really been possible for me to move through a lot of these blocks in myself and deal with these things because I actually had the support of this family right now. It's the only reason why I'm able to even like reach the amount of pain that I'm actually processing, in these moments. And it's a big change for me. It's a huge change for me because there's a lot that's happened on mission. So much has happened, and a lot of times we just couldn't focus on ourselves. It was not the moment. It was not the time. And mom needed us, and so we pushed with the best of our abilities and ourselves to be there for her in all ways that we could, and we did that. But now it's about really coming full circle around, and there's been a lot of things that I have been able to kind of bypass just to say like, oh, we're focusing on mom. It's about mom right now. Now that she is ascended, I no longer have that excuse. Neither does anyone else. And it's pushed me to the point where I can no longer deny or be fake with myself on it. That I have to acknowledge these things. And it has been incredibly easier, more supportive, and more accepting of myself, knowing that everyone around me is aware of it. They are accepting me as like, and I've been watching, just like collectively, just through the team, just within the last 2 weeks even. And I've been practicing different things, just about different things I never did before. I had so much resistance, even praying for this team. I had so much resistance, even praying for the people on this team. It was just mob. That's how locked down I was on mission. And starting these different practices for, praying for different people on the team, like intentionally sending love individually to different people with different thoughts, different feelings, and watching literally within 24 hours, their reactions, their responses, their behavior, everything is shifting. And I'm noticing that a lot of the experiences that I have had, and a lot of experience that everyone else has had on mission, is a product of our own thoughts, our own intentions, our own energies that we feed into it. And there was a moment that I went back to in Florida. It was about 2.5 years ago with Hopi, and she had said something. I had said something. I can't remember what I expressed to her. I'd said something to her that I thought she was doing or thinking about me, and she was like, "No, please don't put that on me. I don't have those thoughts. Don't put that on me. I don't want to have that experience for you." And I didn't see it that way, as where when you carry around so much judgment or opinion or so much, thoughts, thinking that people think this about you, they will act this way about you. You carry this energy eventually to the point where it will transfer and they'll play it out for you. They will enact that role. Because now at that point, you're asking for that experience because you won't let go until you prove yourself right. So it's self-fulfilled prophecy. And that's something I have definitely gotten so wrapped up into. And it's been so refreshing for me just to cut the bullshit and be myself. It doesn't matter how slow I go with it, as long as I'm moving my feet forward, expressing, being myself, loving myself, and letting go of all the hesitations, the apprehension, the thoughts, all those different things. It's easier just to do it and go about it. And all the shit you built up in your head doesn't even exist. It didn't happen, doesn't exist, and never play it out. And the moment I forgave, the moment I prayed, the moment I sent love out, I'd never experienced any of those things. So it really was all in my head. And that was something I didn't even get until I actually applied the intention, sending love, and seeing it literally change in front of me. I didn't have a conversation. I didn't say anything. I didn't ask them to do anything. It just shifted because my thoughts about it shifted. My feelings about it shifted. I let go of my attachments about what already came before. And I accepted that it could be different this time. I accepted that it could be better love this time, more healing, more compassion this time. And if I held that space for myself in the experience, they could actually step into that and actually hold that space with me. Thus, we have the same movie experience. I don't know shit. I'm still working on that, still working through it. But I've made a lot of realizations just with sticking to that. And I've been really, really amazed with it.
That's brilliant, brother. I love it. Thank you. And it's funny what you're sharing as well there, it's the page, the angels have been, since my phone took a dive into the toilet yesterday after my chat with Jason. So the angels, I've just been going back, going into all kinds of numbers, and I'm busy setting up something kind of like the human design and the I Ching, but with numbers. I've got all of the stuff to kind of put out there, but putting it out practically is another story. But the 2 pages that opened on this book, the first page says, all that a man achieves and all that he fails to achieve is the direct result of his own thoughts. And on the next page, it says, happiness is an inside job.
It really is.
I was like, wow. I was actually, I got pinged to get the compass out, and I drew a circle. And the angels got me to draw 5 circles, like the Olympics, but also like the Audi, but the 5 circles in a row, which also represents the straight line in the Kabbalah, So I drew the 5 circles, and everything's really simple when you focus on the 5 platonic solids and just the numbers, which the angels have been pinging me on. So I'm making chakra pyramids now with platonic solids inside made of copper. I haven't got the machine to nanocode yet, but I'm learning from you, Gabriel. So I'm always watching, like George. I'm always watching. So that 7 energy at the front of our name. We always watch.
Jaws, bro. Yeah.
I can't hear you, bro.
Yeah. No, the platonic solids. Carry on. Speak.
Okay, all right. So I was going into just the shapes of the way I drew the circles and how it creates kind of vesica Pisces between each circle. And so the angels told me to write rainbow bridge. So I wrote the rainbow bridge as the vesica Pisces, and then I wrote overlapping energy fields and how our fields overlap basically in threes. So if I'm standing between you and George, your 2 fields will only just touch each other, but the influence of my field will influence both of you and your interaction together. Exactly what George is talking about now, with sending that love, but actually being in that space. And when you can see friction or even energy, you can see the energy theft happening between people, and just being that space of love, that circle of love, that bubble of love, and observing, as George says, observing the effects, because love is powerful and instantaneous when you surrender and you get out the fucking way, you know. And then I did the numbers on all of that stuff. And then they told me to write the gematria. So I wrote 5 circles and I did the gematria of it. And it's 110, which in gematria is vibration.
Wow.
And it's all these simple things that just fucking just rock give me all truth bumps all the time,
Yeah, that's it. I mean, like, to go back to what you were saying about teaching, and sharing the wisdom that you have. It's like one of the most beautiful parts of this journey with the plasma, and being like sharing with Jerry and Virginia, and like people that really want to learn, like really interested in understanding, what it does. And just a small example the other day was like, I was like asking for an evolution and like where to go next, and what's next with this journey. And I started explaining just simple stuff to Virginia, like just how the coils work and how the energy flows, and how it creates a Merkaba and how it creates a balanced harmonic field. And just while I was explaining it to her, dude, it like all came back. It was like this fucking crazy light ups, and like I just got so inspired again with it. You know what I mean? I got like fucking really, really like into it again. Because when I started explaining it, like I started re-hearting myself of how the energy moves and how it actually creates energy. And shit, bro, it was like it was an experience, because while I was speaking to her, like I started getting all these downloads and all these ideas for like what was next. So I really feel a part of, a major part of what this is sharing how, how to do it, and those that are ready and those that are willing, to align with divine will to actually go and do it themselves, will actually action it. You know what I mean? They'll actually do something about it. And it's just been amazing to me to see how, especially just with the artwork on the balls, like, that was my favorite part of doing it. You know what I mean? And then as we started making more and more, that was the first thing I had to let go of. You know what I mean? The first part of it that I had to let go of. And it's like, that's exactly what it's showing me. And it's like, I'll make these things, and I'm like friends with them, bro. And then I have to give them, and I have to like send them in a package, and I'm like I just like give it to the roll. I'm like, you'll know who it's going to, because I can't even tap in or anything. It's like I gotta be so detached, and
it gets sad.
It gets sad. It gets really sad, because it's like,
you can see George feeling that with all his dragon friends. Oh no. Oh.
It feels Gabriel, so you put so much love, intention, prayer, and stuff into things for people, and it's like it's to go to them, but it's like you see them go, you're like, wow, man. Like,
yeah. Sometimes I like the first, I'll take it out the more. I'll just give it like I won't even look at it as much, because I'm like I don't want to create too much of a bond with it.
No eye contact. Is it
But
good?
it's also a beautiful test, because you said you started teaching and you're rehearting yourself, and I mean that's I when I traveled and I waited and I bartended and I coached children's sports as well, because always rehearting ourselves at the basics. But fuck, I wanted to share something about what you're saying, and then it was
What with attachments?
yeah, with the attachment, it was like it's like no, fuck it, no.
But it's like anything. I was likening it to like someone who writes a symphony or like a beautiful piece of music, or like someone who's like, I don't know. That's the hardest part, In order to create that creative flow again, you've got to let go of it. You got to always keep letting go. You got to keep on letting go the entire time, because otherwise the creativity stops. The flow doesn't keep going. If you become attached to whatever you've created, and if you speak to anyone that's brilliant out there, sports, whatever, whoever's got some sort of expression, creative expression, even if you just practicing on your own, it's like that's the key, is to be able to keep letting it go, and get on to the next thing, be on to the next thing, and appreciate it, but with the non-attachment, because the attachment creates like a block in the rhythm. And it's like that creativity can't carry on flowing until
the gematria teaches you that a lot.
Yeah.
Divine non-attachment, because you just keep going. You take the lesson, you see the nugget, you follow the white rabbit, and you just keep going. And what I was going to mention to you is something that I'm also obviously working on at the moment, is attachment to words. And it's the same as something you create, because you put your heart and soul into it, and then you give it to somebody else, and it's like a little, like a prop that they're going to go and put in the corner of their house somewhere, or like, you've got to have no expectation on how other people receive the love that you give, because you're giving unconditionally. You're not giving with conditions on how other people receive it.
That's it, and that's where you get the surprises in life. That's where you get the nuggets. That's where you get, the unknown surprises, where you get that unexpected, surprise from someone, because you're not attached to what you're doing, and that's it. It's not a one-off thing. It's all the time. It's every moment. It has to become like a discipline and a habit. A positive habit of how to completely detach, and that's when. Just right now, that's everything that's happened with me the last 3 days. I just had the full download of exactly what it was. You know what I mean? Like clearing space, creating space for creativity to move. Because if you're creating, and even if there's tiny little attachments to what you're doing, you can't create space for new inspiration.
That also, I feel to share also, that also comes when you are in that space of not doing, when you're in that space of not doing, is also not being attached to doing.
That's it, the being part, the just being, bringing your joy to what you're doing, because that's the externalization of looking for joy in external things, and finding meaning in doing something externally. Greg doesn't need a mic. What is going on?
Are there any comments out there, bro?
My comments on here is like freaking hilarious. Yeah, we do need. We're working on it.
The mic doesn't work with Zoom. It doesn't work with Zoom.
I want to also share something, because today is the 25th, and the 25 has been coming up a lot lately on the numerology course. And then, when I did the other two boys' names and my name, GR is 25, and then Michael, MIC is 25, and Joe, JO is 25. and then a couple of them started having dreams about the number 25, and it's been talking to me for a long time now, basically as a representation of actual words. And so I was asking the angels and asking the trees and stuff, like, what's the message here with the 25? And this is what I wrote down eventually. Obviously, when you write the word belief, we know there's a word lie in the middle, but at the beginning is the word be. And, to be or not to be, like things like that, quotes like that, don't just hang around because they're interesting. When you've got quotes or sayings that have resonated with you since you were a child, they're not there just for your fucking entertainment. They're there for a reason. They've got a message energetically in the vibration of that sequence of not only the sounds but the numbers, the actual representation behind it. That's why certain things hang around you for longer, because they've got special, deeper meanings for you. Whether it's 3 words from the Pope when you were fucking 6 years old, or your school teacher when you left matric before you left, they said something and it stuck with you. Like, there's a deeper message there. And since meeting Mom, all of those things have just been coming full circle around, just showing me, like, basically unraveling, like pulling the end string and letting it all just unravel. And then when I did the numbers on the word be, obviously be is 2 and 5, and the energetics I went into it. Firstly, with the 2, it's learning to not chase. Humanity are still caught up in the chase game, which is the masculine, the number 1 energy. They still want to force things to happen. They still want to be manager of the universe. They still think it's about the doing. And 2 of the factors that come with that 2 energy, that create that energetic, is competition and comparing. And that's why we're always chasing, because we're always looking, what have other people got, and then we compare and we compete, which takes us out of the present moment. And, comparison is the thief of joy, because as soon as you compare this moment to another moment, you steal the joy from this moment. In this moment, it's all divine, it's all perfect. As soon as you go into your head, and I want to go into a bit of that, I've been getting quite a few downloads with that. But like, when we go into the voice, I'll go into it just now, but the voice in your head, I've got some really good nuggets from there as well. But so then you've got the 2, that's the 2 from the word be, to be, and the 2 is obviously all about cooperation and unity and harmony and working in together. And also it's the feminine side, it's the feelings, the intuition, the unseen, the unknowable. It's the invisible aspect that creates the physical masculine aspect. It's the feminine womb that creates the masculine representation. It's all about that divine balance, but it's the feminine first, always. And that's what this year is all about, the 21. 21 is healing the inner child by putting the feminine first, putting the feelings first, putting sensitivity first, and recognizing sensitivity is a strength and not a weakness. It's your greatest strength, so really owning that, embodying that, and being assertive with your feelings. And then you've got the 5, which is, it's the art of distraction. It's all about the 5 senses. George was saying it earlier about the instant gratification. To be or not to be is to honor your soul by not getting distracted by the labels and the status and the materials and the comfort zones and the likes and dislikes. It's just like both of you guys were sharing us, honoring the experience in every experience, and honoring it means feeling it. And integrity means listening to your feelings, trusting your feelings, and expressing your feelings in every moment. That's what Mom taught us so well. Like she just put everything so simply. She just basically dropped it like a pot of gold and said, "There you go, take what you want." And the 7, and obviously it comes to 7, and 7 is it's all about trusting your feelings and being open with your feelings and developing those deep connections, those deep relationships, beyond the surface level kind of tiptoeing and stuff like that. And it's really the 7's an interesting one, because it's like a mystery. And funny enough, the 25 is the letter Y. And then letter Y has been talking to me for 20 years, man. Like, you know, why is a letter, why is a crooked letter and you can't make it straight? But why? But it's the Y, but it's the 25, it's the Y axis, you know? So it's the mysterious, it's the centerpiece of the flow of life. It's the 6 around the 1, and the 1 in the middle is the 7, you know? So it's the mystery, it's the sage. And it's next month. The 7-7 portal is fucking huge because 7 is 49, and the word 8, which is mom's number, which is the infinity, adds up to 49. And I've got so many downloads on that 7, the 40. And you were born in 77, weren't you, Gabriel?
Yes.
There's something popping huge, and that's the galactic number as well. As the 37 is the 3, obviously, is the inner child, but with the 7, when you really embody and embrace the inner child, the intelligence and the gifts and the communication, like there's no resistance. And I've seen George on many occasions, kind of, you know, just being that inner child and just letting it flow, whatever comes through, you know, and it all kind of flows and it resonates, but it's all fucking like one syllable words. You know, when you go onto these platforms and you see like Charlie Freak and he's trying to use psychology words, you know, it's all a deeper program, spiritual ego. You know, another thing mom taught us, always simplicity, and every new dimension is a deeper level of love, and every deeper level of love is a deeper level of simplicity. And there's so many ways to look at yourself. Look at your hands. Why are those lines there? Why are your hands shaped like that? What about the planets? What about the stars, the macro to the micro? What about numbers? Or there's just so many ways to go into the universe within yourself and, you know, explore the space within. You know, it's just, then you're not interested in bullshit. There's too much exciting adventures going on within you, you know, and every time you go out, it just reflects the journey that you're going on internally, you know, and it's like playing a little game of Dungeons and Dragons, and then you go out into the community and you interact with people and you come back with a whole bunch of, like, a packet full of nuggets and triggers, and you put it into your experience, and you know, it's just fucking brilliant, man. I can't hear you.
Skilled Zoom operator, please contact the team. We could
I can't hear you, Peter, at all. Gabriel, I can't hear you at all, bro.
No, but what you were saying earlier is like be and then do and then you have. Be, do, have.
Me do have. I like it.
And everyone really just wants to do all the time. You know? And that's been a big test for me the last 2 weeks. Is, you know, a lot of times I've found escape in doing things. You know what I mean? In like
Sure.
being busy, or like, you know, doing right action around the house, or you know, staying busy with a task, or you know, whatever the case is. But it's got to this point now where I haven't been able to do that. I've had to sit with my feelings and be able to generate my own joy before I can go and do anything. You know, it's like I'll become paralyzed if I don't find my own peace and my own joy within myself first before I do anything. And I feel that's a big test that's happening right now. And it's obviously a collective energy too, because it's like a lot of people find escape. It's like, especially those really successful people in 3D, you know, they're always busy bodies doing something, you know, always looking for something to do. And it's like, it's completely the other way around. You know, it's it's taking the fucking moment and then going for it. You know, finding that joy and that peace within myself first before I do anything.
For sure.
And that's why I love this shit, man, this plasma, because it won't let me do it.
He loves this shit.
It won't let me do it. It won't allow that behavior.
But also, Gabriel, like, like, I don't know how many times I say this, but like, we are always talking to ourselves. And no matter how many times you say that, and people agree and they put it out there, they say that, but then in the next moment, they say a bunch of stuff, and you look at it and you look at the vibration of the words and the conversation you've just had. And then and then I wonder sometimes, and then I've got to go into, hey man, allow others to have their own experiences. But even words, when people are writing, when you just nonstop going reactive mode, right? You're writing spells to yourself. What's the frequency in everything you're putting out there? Like really slowing down. That's the key. That's why people are getting sick and hurt and injured. I mean, I spoke to my Earth mother this morning. She's sick. She fell through the floor. My aunt is sick. My stepfather's in the hospital dying. My sister, like that. Oh, and I'm like, at this point, I've just, the 10, 11 actions really served me. Like, allow others to have their own experiences. And then Trevor Hall comes and he says, your house is burning. I'm gonna watch it. You built your own fire. I'm gonna watch it burn. I'm gonna send you love to fuel the flame so you can see yourself.
It's like Trevor Hall, I was like, house on fire. He's like,
Just listening to that song.
it's alright, it's been burned down now.
That's funny.
A beautiful quote came into my space not long ago, and it said, "The master knows which way energy flows, and as long as you're winning inside, it doesn't matter what stones get thrown at you. It's just little tools to readjust to find your balance. Just little, oh, thanks. Oh, yeah, shot. Just, yes. You love. Now I'm whole. I can say you love.
Yeah, that's it, bro. It's what galactic workout. Galactic aerobics.
Galactic aerobics. I'm gonna write that one down. Galactic aerobics. So this, I just wanted to bring this up that's been coming to me quite a bit lately, which is the exploration of the inner space. And, it's so brilliantly synchronistic, when I basically wrote down the 6 steps, because all you've got to do essentially is balance 1 to 6. Because once you've balanced 1 to 6, you are now balanced, and now you can get to 7. You can start trusting those deeper connections, those deeper feelings, that divine intelligence, because that's the 7, divine intelligence. But you've got to find that balance. The more balanced you are, the more you receive. So I wrote down 6 steps from numbers 1 to 6, and I wrote down the words. And the next day, Mom posted, said, everybody do a pono pono. And I did the numbers on the words of the pono pono prayer, and they were exactly the same as the words I wrote down for numbers 1 to 6. Wow. And I was like, fuck, even my body now, I can feel it, like, sure. So I wrote down some stuff here I just wanted to share with everyone out there, But, firstly, to recognize the voice in your head. Who is the voice in your head? Because if you're witnessing it and you're hearing it, then it's not you. And when you really pay attention to that head, the voice, and you just listen to the advice it gives you and the things that it says, and then it takes both sides. And, recognize, like, if you saw a stranger walking the street just talking to themselves nonstop, like I do, then you would think they're mad, but that's exactly the thing. You've got this roommate in your head. It's not you. It's the same as if you've got a problem. You recognize the problem. Therefore, you are not the problem. You are the witness to the problem, but you're making the problem yours. You're attaching to that problem because it strengthens the ego. And, angels have been pinging on me on this for a long time now. Like, why do people, even people that say they're highly spiritual, like aware and stuff like that, why do they still entertain the mind? Why do they still consciously feed it their energy, feed it their attention, feed it their feelings? When you know it's the disease. The mind is the disease. Everything in your life that's not joy is because you're in the mind. As soon as you get out of the mind, it all disappears. I often do that example. If you look to the left and you look to the right, do you see your problems anywhere? No, they don't exist. They literally do not exist, like Mom says in the bird tribe video. This world is purely a creation of our imagination, which is fear-based. That's all it is, and all you got to do to change it is don't feed it. Which wolf are you feeding on? The vision, the love vision, or the fear? And what you were saying earlier, guys, in the Vedanta, it says the guy says the wisest man I ever went to was my tailor, because every time I went to him, he took fresh measurements. Really, that the present moment is all exists. So when you catch yourself going with the mind, just stop. Just stop and don't give it energy. Don't choose sides, because how can you be when the mind says good stuff? Oh yes, thank you. Oh man, oh good. But when the mind says bad stuff, you're like, no, fuck, that's not me. But how can the mind say how can it differentiate between good and bad? It plays both sides because it's not who you are. It's the voice that is there to distract you from the stillness of yourself. And absolutely nothing it says is you. People have forgotten the Vedanta teacher taught me how science continually develops the object. Science is always kind of pretending to work to improve the object, but the subject is neglected. And so it doesn't matter how much you fix externally until you work on the subject. You're going to just keep repeating the same loops, as Joyce said earlier. Just banging your head over and over again until you decide. And they say the longest journey you will ever make is the one from your mind to your heart. And that's what the fucking whole ascension process is about. That's it.
Longest journey you're going to make.
Oh man, Mama's brilliant, man.
I just wanna touch up before we're getting down to going soon. I just want to really address kind of definitely in these moments I feel a lot is everyone's processing a lot. There's a lot coming up. There's so much going on. Summertime, July. We just finished solstice, full moon yesterday. There's so much energy pummeling this planet right now. It's going to make everyone so very easily triggered. We know, we've been watching it going on. If we're not staying on top of ourselves, those be explosions. So grateful, the team here is staying on it. We're managing our processes. Everyone's being accountable, to themselves and responsible with their energy. But that's the same across the board for everyone on this planet. For everyone to have a more balanced, elevated experience, the energy you take into the situation is going to dictate what you get out of it, and you may very well be in 3D, be in 3D jobs, wherever you are. But the energy and the intention you start off with, even though it's a shitty day or you think it's a shitty day or you're having a bad moment or whatever it is, whatever you want to tell yourself, that is what's going to build the rest of the day. So if you can get ahead of that, if you can cut those cords, if you can change your perception, change that mentality, switch it around, get a good attitude on your shoulders, and get back in your heart, you will have a way better elevated day and a way more higher vibrational day. Choosing that, going about it that way, versus going through it your same behavioral pattern style, pissed off, blaming, pointing fingers at someone when it's someone to compensate you. Okay? So it's across the board for everyone. Everyone has to look at it. We're looking at it. You have to look at it. That way we can get through it. Okay? People start pulling out, don't want to look at things, blaming. That's how we get into the runaround. It's a spin around door, and nobody likes that anymore. We're finally getting out of it. So everyone, please just look at yourselves, really feel into it. Drink your water, ground, go outside, get in the sun, put your bare feet on the ground, feel the earth, have an intention for all the energy in your body to ground and release into the earth. If you were going outside to stand on the ground and you walk back inside and you didn't feel any shifts, you didn't ground. I don't care how long you stood on the ground. If you do not intend it, if you do not feel for that release, you are going back inside just as full as you went outside, and now you're setting yourself up for a pop. So the more you manage, the more you support yourself, the better you will feel through your experience.
For sure.
Love you. Beautiful. Love y'all so much.
Love you, fam bam.
Love you, mama.
Love your mama.
Love your mama.
Yeah, we love you all. Thank you, Greg, for coming on with us, brother. It's been really awesome. I can't remember the last time I was on live with you at the same time.
Wow, ages ago.
Honor, brother. It's grateful.
Absolutely, me too. Thank you, guys. Lots of love.
Love you, bro.
Keep shining. Thanks, brother. Thanks for the pyramid. I know it's on its way.
Yeah, it left 2 days ago. Should be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Pray for safe arrivals.
I sent the angels a while back.
Cool.
So we see us out.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
All right.
All right.
Love you, fam bam. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, okay.
What's that?
No, I was just saying thanks to the family for joining us.
Oh, yeah.
You ready to sing, Greggy?
Yeah, they're wrong.
Yes, let's sing, bro.
All right. 5, 6,
7, 8.
woo!
9. Na, 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 na.
Na, na,
Na,
na,
na,
na.
na.
Hey, hey, hey.
Love has won. Na,
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 na.
na. Joy.
Hey, hey.
Na, na. Joy,
Hey,
Ray.
Ray.
Hey, hey, hey. Love has